Good evening, everybody. Will Wiggleman here with you on the PHP Network. Thanks so much for joining us tonight as the Prowlers, as I mentioned, are in the final weekend of their season-high 7-game, 3-weekend road trip. They are 3-1 currently on the road trip after sweeping the Baton Rouge Zydeco 2 weeks ago and then splitting last weekend with the Mississippi Sea Wolves. On the other side, the Thunderbirds are red hot right now. They've won 4 in a row, including last weekend, 2 games beyond regulation with late tying goals over the River Dragons to move that much closer to Columbus atop the Continental Division. But could there be a little bit of an emotional letdown this weekend for Carolina? Those are 2 very, very emotional games to defeat the River Dragons. One with a tying goal with the goaltender pulled. The other one the tying goal with under 5 minutes to go in regulation. And then to win them both in first game a shootout, second game in overtime. Should be interesting to see how the Thunderbirds continue to keep up that momentum here tonight. As for the Prowlers, this is the building where their season has ended each of the last 2 years, including the last time they were here back in April. Of course, their season won't be ending this weekend, but it will certainly be nice if they can pick up a couple of wins in this 3-game set. We'll have much more for you coming up on the pregame show. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
Come fill McMorran Place at every Prowlers home game this season. General admission tickets are just $15 with discounts available for seniors, military, students, and children under 12. Upgrade your experience in one of our suites, or bring the whole squad to the game with discounts for groups of 10 or more. Find your best option to visit the Thumb Coast professional hockey team by visiting phprowlers.com and find the tickets tab, or call the box office at 810-985-6166. Secure your seats today.
Back here at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex, the fans are raring to go. This is a building that attracts a lot of people. They've seen a lot of sold-out games so far this season, and a strong crowd coming out again tonight. Let's take a look at these Thunderbirds' last game. It was here at the Annex, and it was an overtime win over the Columbus River Dragons. Dawson Baker scored the tying goal with under 5 minutes to play in that one, and then Gus Ford with the overtime game winner as the Thunderbirds come from behind again to steal points from the Columbus River Dragons. Alexander Jemayev scored a goal. Cody Wickline had an assist for Columbus. Taylor Joseph made the start for the Dragons. And for Carolina, Mario Cavalieri made 33 saves in what was a heck of a weekend for him. 2 wins, only giving up 2 goals on over 70 shots over the 2-game span. So he gave 3 goals in the 2 games, facing 70 shots, and he was named the 3rd star of the night in both games. Carolina sweeping that series. For the Prowlers, a 6-3 win over the Mississippi Sea Wolves back last Saturday, thanks to the hat trick from Tucker Scantleberry. He also added an assist. Liam Freeborn had 2 goals and 2 assists. He is no longer with the Prowlers. Well, at least I shouldn't say no longer. He's not with the Prowlers right now, as he has gotten his call to the SPHL with the Peoria Rivermen. He went there this week. So the Prowlers with a big hole to fill in their lineup, but certainly a lot of forward depth to do that with. We'll get to the lines in just a few minutes. But Scantleberry with the strong game helped the Prowlers come back and pick up the split in Biloxi. That was the Prowlers' first hat trick of the season. Makar Sokolov got his 3rd win of the season. He's a perfect 3-0 this year. Let's take a look at what that means for the Continental Division standings. River Dragons still sitting on top, but looking over their shoulders as Carolina just 2 points back of the Dragons, who are facing the Blue Ridge Bobcats tonight. Prowlers still 3 points behind Mississippi and 5 points up on the Blue Ridge Bobcats for the final playoff spot in the Continental. And the Baton Rouge Zydeco had the sorry distinction last weekend of becoming the first team in the FPHL to 10 losses this season. We already talked about Gus Ford, and he's the guy that the offense runs through. The Thunderbirds have two waves of attack. It's Gus Ford and then the check line. Gus Ford, the defending FPHL MVP last season after a 114-point year, 46 goals in 54 games. He's on a 4-game goal streak right now, 6 goals in that span. And he leads the FPHL in game-winning goals. 6 of his 11 this year have gone down as the game winner. Tucker Scantleberry with the hat trick against the Seawolves last weekend. He also had a hat trick in the last game the Prowlers played in this building. Game 2 of the Commissioner's Cup playoffs first round. Tucker Scantleberry had a hat trick and 7 shots on goal. He did all he could. Unfortunately for the Prowlers, they would end up falling in overtime in that game on a Dawson Baker goal. But Scantleberry, with a natural hat trick in the third period, emerged as a star in that game. A huge performance from number 17, and he'll try to continue it here tonight. Again, the hat trick as well in his last game. He'll be in the starting lineup tonight along with Sam Merritt and Dan Chartrand. As you take a look at the Prowlers lines, Dalton J. and Matthias Tellstrom draw back in. Austin Federley is not available tonight as he was injured last weekend in Mississippi. So the Prowlers back to that 11 forwards and 5 defensemen lineup. And these are likely the guys that you are going to see all weekend long. The only extra that the Prowlers have who may dress this weekend is Ian Wallace, and he's a goaltender. Adam Heinzel did make the trip, but he is still on IR. Austin Federley, as I mentioned, did not make the trip. So these are the guys that the Prowlers will be rolling with this weekend for the 3-3 in Carolina. Announcing the starters here. We'll give you the starters for the Prowlers one more time. It's Dan Chartrand, Sam Merritt, and Tucker Scantleberry up front. Alex Johnson and Braden Deck on the back end. And in net tonight, with a perfect 3-0 record, Makar Sokolov. That is your Orthopedic Associates starting lineup tonight for the Port Huron Prowlers. They're just finishing up the starting lineup announcements for the Thunderbirds here at the Annex. And in just moments, we will take you down to ice level for the national anthem and the drop of the puck, as we are almost set to get underway here in Winston-Salem.
Please rise and join your Carolina Thunderbirds in great work technologies and a moment of silence to honor the heroes who made the ultimate sacrifice for our country. Thank you. Great Work Technologies offers a comprehensive suite of industrial automation, integration, and motor control services. Visit greatworktechnologies.com. See more. Fans, please help us recognize our special guest tonight, Operations Specialist 3rd Class George L. Hutcherson IV. George served in the United States Navy in the Naval Reserves from 1983 to 1988. During his time in service, he was a part of the recommissioning crew for the USS Iowa. During his time in the Naval Reserves, he was attached to the USS Peterson and the USS Valdez. And we
A lighter crowd than they usually see here this season, but still a sizable one here at the Nest, cheering on that national anthem. Before we drop the puck tonight, let's take a look at the starting goaltenders for this game. We already mentioned Makar Sokolov coming in with the perfect 3-0-0 record, an even .900 save percentage, and a .366 goals against average. And he'll be going up against who looks like one of the best goaltenders in the FPHL this season in Mario Cavalieri, leading the FPHL with a .208 goals against average and a .932 save percentage. He also has 7 wins in 9 starts this season. He has started 9 of the Thunderbirds' first 10 games. Thunderbirds sending out Joe Kennedy and Clay Healy to start this game, along with the top line of Dawson Baker, Gus Ford, and Dominic Dumas. Ford and Merritt will slide in for the face-off. And we are underway. Quickly sent all the way into Prowler ice. Comes to the point. Keeley with a drive. Misses wide. Prowlers work to get it out. Now Johnson run into by Baker as Baker is trying to exit the zone. So they'll call the offsides on Dawson Baker. And a little extra conversation between Baker and the Prowlers. Certainly no love lost between these two teams. And quickly, an ice repair. So we'll have to wait a few moments for the ice repair. This is the first 3-3 for both teams this season, as the Prowlers last year were 5-1 in the 3-3 games that they played. They played 2 3-3s, so 6 games total. We're 5-1. Got 2 victories and then a loss against the Motor City Rockers opening weekend last year. And then in December, in a 3-3 split between Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and neutral site game, and 2 games in Biloxi, Mississippi, the Prowlers swept the Seawolves. So some serious ice maintenance going on in the Prowlers' end. 22 seconds into the game. They brought out the fire extinguisher to try and fill in. I guess there was a bit of a gap over there on the ice. Now we're ready to go. Prowlers have switched up the forward line as Matt Graham's line is out there. Out there with Brandon Picard and Dalton Jay. Jay drawing back into the lineup after being a healthy scratch last weekend. As here's Ford trying for the wraparound kick save by Sokolov. That one bounced past the net from the point. As Ford came all the way around the net, he didn't go for the near post, actually went for the far, and Sokolov able to kick out the left flipper and make the save. Picard skates into it, trying to tip it on by. He'll get in for the puck and rim it around. Kennedy and Jay cancel out. Graham sent it towards the front of the net. Keeley cut it off. He'll send a teammate on his way. Now picking Parsons' pocket. And unable to get a shot off was Panacek. Puck still sitting there in the pile of bodies. Comes to the point. Firth had his shot blocked neatly by Dalton Jay. Panacek part of that dangerous check line. He has the puck again. Feeds it down to Salak. Salak to the middle of the ice. Couldn't find anyone. It's Salak, Panacek, and Pastuka. One of the big lines here for Carolina. Sim sent it along towards Decumbus. Foley trying to settle it down. It goes to the corner. Decumbus out high to Dalton Young. D to D. Parsons walks, fires into a sea of bodies. Sim put it back on net, and Cavalieri got down just in time. That puck just dropped right in the skates of Jacob Schnapp. And Tristan Sim just put it on net. Cavalieri alertly gets down to make the save. Played off the boards, and then I think it hit somebody on the Prowler bench. So we'll get a stoppage in play. 17:44 to go in the Munger Physical Therapy opening period. They'll take the face-off back inside Prowler territory. And we'll redo that face-off. That will be taken by Nate Keeley, the twin brother of Clay Keeley. Both teammates on this Carolina Thunderbirds team. Both played at Aurora University as well together, and with the Macon Mayhem briefly last year after their college seasons ended. Wrist shot gets through, and it's blocked away by Sokolov off the stick of James Farmer. Rookie out of Morrisville State. Got that wrist shot through. Prowlers and the Thunderbirds both switching up the forward lines. Out of this face-off to Makar Sokolov's left. Baker lined up right behind Ford, looking for the puck. He'll get it. He'll shoot off a Prowler stick and high. Ford dumps it back in. Johnson taking it, going around the net. Quickly up to Picard. Lead pass on for Jay. Jay trying to split through, gives to Graham. Got a soft shot on, and kicked out by Cavalieri, out of the reach of Jay for the rebound. Ford up to Dumas. Slips through a hit from Johnson. Dumas has a man going to the net, but he had to chase down the puck in the corner. Now Johnson takes it, works up the wall. Jay trying to keep it moving. Ford comes out with the puck. Comes out to center ice. The crowd wanted a penalty as Ford was knocked down. Both teams in the midst of changes. 16.5 to go in the opening period. Kennedy gloved it down. Foley tried to take it the other way, but it hopped over his stick. Salak in working on deck. Salak to the back post, looking for Panacek. Johnson was right on it. Pastuka from a sharp angle off of Sokolov. Pastuka and Johnson wrestling for the puck. Salak pulls it out. Deck in there as well. Now here's Panacek. To Pastuka. His quick shot. Sokolov didn't know he had it. He looked behind him, but it was in between his arm and his body, and Makar Sokolov comes up with a big save. Just over 4 minutes into period one. An offensive zone faceoff coming for the check line. Merritt and Panacek in for it. A little bit of extra pushing and shoving between the centermen, and now they're kicking Merritt out of the faceoff. So Scantleberry will come in to take it. He wins it back clean. Schumacher fires it up to Scantleberry. One touches it on for Decumbus, who went down, no call. Scantleberry on net was stopped by Cavalieri. Scantleberry still coming up with that puck. Cycles it down. Merritt slipped it towards the goal. It was knocked away by Salak. Merritt comes in and throws a hit on Felder. Pastuka flies it out. The arm is up for offsides as Panacek was searching for that lofted pass. And now it's Scantleberry getting the red line and getting it in. Cavalieri played it right to Graham. Sent it out in front. Caught a stick. Deck had his shot blocked with Cavalieri sprawling. Oh, Matt Graham played it perfectly, but his pass was knocked away, and then the Thunderbirds in scramble mode able to block a couple shots. Graham plays it out, gets through Bioni, and heading back after it is Farmer. He'll pull up behind the net, give to Justin Bioni. Flips it high and out. Deck tried to glove it down. He ended up blowing a tire, and now Braden Deck is going to get a penalty. As down on a knee, he got in Nate Keeley's way, who's trying to chase after the loose puck. And the Prowlers will go to the penalty kill, straightened up by Orthopedic Associates for the first time tonight. When we come back, you're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people.
They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Come fill McMorran Place at every Prowlers home game this season. General admission tickets are just $15 with discounts available for seniors, military, students, and children under 12. Upgrade your experience in one of our suites, or bring the whole squad to the game with discounts for groups of 10 or more. Find your best option to visit the Thumb Coast professional hockey team by visiting phprowlers.com and find the tickets tab, or call the box office at 810-985-6166. Secure your seats today.
It's a Thunderbirds power play as we're back here at the Annex, and the puck is down. Braden Deck 2 minutes for interference, and the second-ranked power play in the FPHL goes to work at an even 25% against the Prowlers' last-place PK at 68.9%, although that number has been going up for Port Huron over the past few weekends. Played around to Ford. Now Baker. Dumas is in the slot. Ford. To Baker again. Ford has it again. He'll take the shot. Just slipped wide on the ice. Firth now. Back to Ford behind the net. Out high Baker. Wristed off the stick of Sokolov. Johnson battling for it. Able to get it, but only cleared as far as Baker at the line. About halfway through the power play is Ford looking for the corner. Just shot it wide. Clay Keeley. Watched by DeCumbus. He'll give to Ford. Now Keeley again. Back to Ford again. To Dumas in the slot. Couldn't get a clean shot away as the Prowlers collapsed in on him. Johnson will start the other direction with his team in the midst of a change. Johnson gets to the middle of the ice. His shot blocked by Firth. And now over to Foley, who has space. Pass it back door. And just missed the net. Chartrand was there on the back door waiting, but couldn't find him. That puck took a funny hop behind the net. Schnapp trying to center. And now it's Salak with 15 to go on the power play. Salak out to the point. Pastuka. Back to Salak. Down low. Sokolov, where is it? It's in the crease. Sokolov doing a snow angel. And he's able to cover up for a whistle. And now Panacek comes out of the scrum with his helmet off. Crowd wants another penalty with 3 seconds left to go on Braden Deck's call. And it was scramble mode for the Prowlers. After Salak turned the shot on net, may have been deflected by Butita, who was flying through the slot. Sokolov and the Prowlers survive. And they're 3 seconds away from a successful PK. Panacek won it back, but too hard. And Kennedy has to chase it down. We're back to 5-on-5. Pastuka plays it across to Keeley. Keeley steps in, fires it around. Young keeps it moving up to Jay, who fanned on his pass to Graham. Now the lead pass on towards Picard ends up getting tipped into Thunderbird territory. Pastuca poked off his stick neatly by Young, but Picard couldn't get it to Jay, so Panacek back on it. Drops it up to Bioni. Over to Kennedy. Tellstrom in on the forecheck. Kennedy played it right off a stanchion, so it ends up bouncing back in his direction. Now it's Bioni on it. His feed over to Pastuca, out of his reach, and icing called against the Thunderbirds with 11:46 to go in period 1. Thunderbirds out shooting the Prowlers right now 7-2. Carolina has the last 5 shots on net, including 3 on that power play. Panacek taking his sweet time getting to the faceoff dot after the icing. Foley able to win the faceoff from him. And then Foley tipped the deck shot on net. Covered up by Cavalieri for a whistle, and Foley getting a couple extra shoves from Peter Panacek. So now the Thunderbirds will be able to make their change. Prowlers will counter with a change as well. Going to be the third line for Carolina, as Farmer gives it over to Bioni. That's Nate Keeley, the captain John Batista, and Jacob Schnapp. Here's Nate Keeley with a shot. He scores! Nate Keeley walking down the left wing side, picks the corner over the glove of Sokolov, and the Thunderbirds have a 1-0 lead. And that's the first for Nate Keeley. With 11.5 to go in the first period. Just a perfect shot that caught the top corner. The Thunderbirds get on the board first here tonight. Not something the Prowlers have seen too often this season. They've only given up the first goal once all year, and they lost that game. That was against Motor City, in Motor City, the 7-1 defeat. Farmer gives it over to Bioni. His pass cut off. Sim on for Chartrand. He wasn't ready for it, so it turns into a dump. Schnapp quickly on, looking for Keeley, the goal scorer. Now Alex Johnson turning it back the other way. Johnson slips through a couple of Thunderbirds, but it's tapped off his stick. Now the other way is Dumas. Around the net. And now over to the far side. Chartrand able to get it only as far as the point where Felder was. Now it's Parsons on to Sim. Couldn't get it out. Sim slips through Firth, but Gus Ford first on the puck. Fires a long feed on to Dumas. Prowlers in the midst of a change, so plenty of guys back as Dumas is knocked down. But Firth kept the puck alive. Firth across, and Dumas couldn't get the stick on it. David Gaeta couldn't work it out on that try. Now Jay will skate it up to Gaeta. Gets in, fires, stopped by Cavalieri, and he'll gather in the rebound and get a whistle. 1-0 Carolina on Nate Keeley's first of the year. 9:53 to go in period 1. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network. Prowlers with an offensive zone face-off, trailing 1-0 with 9:53 to go in period number 1. It's Nate Keeley from John Batista and Justin Bioni officially at the 8:30 mark of the opening frame. Merritt and Panacek to take the face-off. It's tied up there momentarily for its dug out by Kennedy. Here's Clay Keeley, Nate's twin brother. Fed it over to Panacek. Rink wide feed on for Salak. Gets caught up in his skates. Now DeCumbus trying to bounce it off the boards. It comes to Panacek. Down to Salak. His shot on along the ice. Just missed wide. Keeley just able to keep it in. Schumacher up the wall towards Panacek. Merritt takes him in hard. Now Salak on towards Pastuca. Salak found the puck, just ripped it, and missed high. Pastuca, now Salak, looking for a pass. One-timer by Panacek, shut down by Sokolov. DeCumbus up to Scantlebury, one-on-one on Keeley, and his rising shot may have caught Cavalieri's glove just slightly before going high and wide. Sokolov waits for help. He'll give it to Deck. Both teams finishing up changes. So we approach 8.5 minutes to go. Turned over. Butita shut down. Makar Sokolov slams the door on the turnover on the Thunderbirds captain. Huge opportunity for Butita. And a gigantic save for Sokolov, his best of the night. And Sokolov just fixing up the mask before we can resume play. Face-off getting ready to be dropped between Graham and Nate Keeley. Johnson up towards Picard, tips it along. Graham with Jay. Trying to bounce it off the boards to him. Didn't take the bounce it was hoping. Now Schnapp backhands it in. Here's Graham across to Johnson. Tips it on to Picard. Kept in momentarily. This time Johnson will loft it out. Bioni put a little reverse hit on Matt Graham, who was flying in with the puck up in the air. Farmer back for it. Picard takes it from him. Tried to put it towards the cage. Knocked away by Bioni. Quickly up to Schnapp. Left it for Batista to skate into. Now on to Nate Keeley. His shot right into the chest of Sokolov, and he'll hang on for a whistle and a face-off. 11th shot of the period for Carolina to Port Huron's 3. Foley and Ford in the face-off circle. Ford wins it right back to Baker. Over to Firth. Just moves it down the wall. There's Tellstrom looking to get it out. Finds Chartrand at the red line. On to Foley. Prowlers captain dumps it back to Young. Now Schumacher on net. That one may have deflected before going wide. Now Young risks it through. That one definitely deflected. Tellstrom tried to pull it back to the post off the back wall, but couldn't do it. Seven minutes to go in the opening period. Prowlers with a couple of good chances on that shift. Chartrand bangs it in. Cavalieri leaves it there for Firth. DeCumbus right there. He and Salak end up coming together behind the net. Long lead pass on, misses everybody. Icing waved off though. Johnson trying to play it away from Pastuca. Johnson gets the red line, gets in, fires, it's blocked. Now Deck towards the net, and Cavalieri will find it and cover up. .6:25 left in period one. Prowlers still trailing the Thunderbirds 1-0. And they'll send Matt Graham's line back out there for this offensive zone faceoff. The Prowlers' all-time leader in assists, playing with two wingers who really like to put the puck in the back of the net in Dalton Jay and Brandon Picard. Of course, Jay, the Prowlers' all-time leader in goals, and Picard, this season's leader in goals. Comes up the wall to Panacek. Now Pastuca just dumps it in, and he'll head off for a change. Salaka in hard on the forecheck. Schumacher on to Graham, off the wall. Jay chipping it on to Picard. Thunderbirds turning it the other direction. Here's Schnapp over to Salak, kicks it up to his stick. Couldn't get a shot off. Comes right through the crease, where Picard is able to clean it up. Moves in 1-on-2. Picard knocked down. Bioni plays it off the wall. And it comes back to Parsons at neutral ice. Kennedy sent it out. Deck took a hit from Nate Keeley, but he moved it up ice. Sim with a shot off of Bioni and goes to the corner. Bioni again. Off the back wall to Farmer. Back to Bioni. He'll start the rush. Thought about dumping it. Instead, he'll skate it. Bioni tried to make a move. He runs into the hip check from Braden Deck. Little Adam Heinzel specialty there. Heinzel on the bench, acting as the equipment manager tonight. Still on the IR with that upper body injury. Farmer, watched by Deck, takes Deck in hard to the wall. They both go down, and Scantlebury dumps it in. Then Cavalieri went down to the ice as a Prowler and a Thunderbird were behind the net. Now here's Scantlebury back in, winds, fires off the arm of Cavalieri. Baker has Dumas with him. Baker tried to take the shot. It was swallowed up by Johnson and rolls to Sokolov, who will hang on for a whistle. 4:15 to go in period one. Prowlers still trail 1-0. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
Mac and cheese is up.
Mac and cheese pizza? Mac and cheese pizza.
That's right, the new mac and cheese pizza from Hungry Howie's. Mac and cheese, mozzarella, panko breadcrumbs, and our famous flavored crust. Only for a limited time.
Hungry
Howie's!
Back here at the Annex, just over 4 minutes left to go in the Munger Physical Therapy first period, and the Prowlers trailing 1-0. But they do win the defensive zone faceoff. Sim and Firth come together on the wall. They try and dig it out. Dumas is able to and get it back deep. Johnson chips it along. Felder got it out, and Johnson put it right back in. Firth behind his own net. Chartrand stole it from him. Put it out in front. Stim! Wired it wide all by himself in the slot. Chartrand back in. Dumps it deep. Foley took a spill looking for that puck. And now Chartrand steals it at center, dumps it right in on Cavalieri, and Foley will make him cover it. Oh boy, Tristan Sim had a grade A opportunity with 3 Thunderbirds puck watching after Dan Chartrand stole it below the goal line. He opted for the one-timer and couldn't find the target. Sim trying to snap a 5-game goal drought, personal goal drought for him. Last goal was the game-tying goal with 14 seconds left back in October against the Mississippi Seawolves. An eventual Prowlers overtime win as Cavalieri finds the puck at the post and covers up. So we'll do it again. To Cavalieri's left. Graham and Panacek for the draw. And Panacek wins it back clean. Kennedy reverses it to Clay Keeley. Now Salak looking for it. He'll find it. And dump it in. Panacek. Put it down into the corner. Deck around in Gaeta's direction. Took a hit from Pastuca. They battle away down there in the corner. Graham and Salak were shoving each other, and Pastuca ended up taking a stick up high because of it. Meanwhile, Jay tried to put it towards the cage. Gaeta knocked it down. He's taken into the wall by Clay Keeley. Puck is not in that scrum. All 4 guys involved thought it was still there. Now DeCumbus chasing it down. Now Salak gets it in. 2:12 to go in the period. They dig along the boards. Deck on to Scantleberry. Gets the red line, dumps it in. And he'll head off for a change as Cavalieri leaves it for Bioni. Bioni just able to get to Batita. John Batita weaving through center into offensive territory. He'll cycle it deep towards Nate Keeley. Now Evan Foley leaves it for Schumacher. Up to Young. He flips it high and out. Bioni gloves it down. Bioni taken into the wall by Scantleberry. And he's iced the puck. So the Prowlers will get an offensive zone face-off with just under a minute and a half to go in the period. Now Scantleberry getting some extra words in with the Thunderbird bench. So is Dan Chartrand. Prowlers need a 5th skater, and Scantleberry heads back out there. The Scantleberry, Merritt, and Picard. And face off. One back by the Thunderbirds with the Prowlers in on the forecheck. Almost able to steal the puck back. Now it's Bioni. Moving it on to Nate Keeley. He'll dump it in. He and Schumacher after it together. And now Young swoops in for it. Scantleberry over the line. Looking for Picard. He couldn't find it. Bioni up the wall. Prowlers in the midst of a change. Bioni has it again. Watched by Picard. And he'll head back to the bench himself. 45 seconds to go in the Munger physical therapy first period. Firth and Bioni content to play catch in their own end. Prowlers setting up the trap in the neutral zone. Firth with 28. And the game within the game continues here as Carolina's trying to figure out how to break the Prowlers' trap, and instead they'll ice the puck. So it worked for Port Huron. Just sit back and trap and block off the outlet passes. And Carolina forced to ice the puck. Port Huron will get an offensive zone face-off. 16.1 seconds are up on the clock here at the Annex. Graham wins it back, but out of the reach of Johnson. 10 seconds on the clock. Graham plays it off the wall and in. Cavalieri playing it away from Picard, who stole it. And Jay couldn't kick it back towards the net as Cavalieri got his paddle on the pass in front. And that's going to do it for 20 minutes of play here at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex. And it is the Thunderbirds with a 1-0 lead on the Port Huron Prowlers. Shots on goal in that period favoring Carolina, 12-7. But the Prowlers did have 4 of the last 5 shots on net in the frame. But again, it is a 1-0 lead for the Carolina Thunderbirds through 20 minutes of play. And Nick Keeley, the one who has the goal in tonight's game for Carolina. Coming up in the first intermission, we'll take a look back at last week at the highlights against the Mississippi Seawolves. We'll also take a look around the league at some storylines around the FPHL. Couple of trades to tell you about. So stay tuned for all of that. It's all coming up right here on the first intermission report here on the PHP Network. We'll get your holiday shopping finished at the Port Huron Prowlers team store. The store features shirts, hats, decorations, and more, with new sweatshirts and mitts dolls coming in soon. Come find us on the west end of McMorran Arena at every home game or online anytime at prowlersmerch.com. You can also scan the QR code on your screen now to visit the online shop. Look your POHO best with gear from the Prowlers team store. Once again, that's prowlersmerch.com or scan that QR code on your screen now. First intermission underway here from the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex, and it is Thunderbirds 1, Prowlers nothing. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll take a look back at the highlights against the Mississippi Seawolves. It's coming up right here on the PHP Network.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
Mac and cheese is up.
Mac and cheese pizza? Mac and cheese pizza.
That's right, the new mac and cheese pizza from Hungry Howie's. Mac and cheese, mozzarella, panko breadcrumbs, and our famous flavored crust. Only for a limited time.
Hungry
Howie's!
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
They're seriously not even that much better than you.
Should've just got a ticket from phprowlers.com.
I should have just bought tickets at phprowlers.com.
I got it! I should have just got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
I should have got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
They should have just got tickets
at phprowlers.com.
Skating into it, has Foley going to net. Shark sent it there, but couldn't get it on net. Schumacher back towards the cage. Now Foley in front looking for Chartrand. Had to kick it up to his stick. They jam away. Foley scores! On the back door, Evan Foley cleans up the loose change, and the Prowlers have a 1-0 lead. Goes to the corner. That puck flipped up in the air. Parsons steps in to take it. Over to Chartrand. He scores! The puck came all the way through for Dan Chartrand, and he wires it to the top corner. Prowlers take a 2-0 lead. Back out high, Federley again. Over to Picard. They get him involved. Federley to Johnson. Takes a shot, he scores! Power play goals in 3 straight for Alex Johnson, and he gives the Prowlers a 3-0 lead. Federley first on it. Leaves it for Johnson. Sewell's hard in on the forecheck. Comes to the slot. Big save by Tynan on Liarakos, who was there in the slot. Parsons. His pass was taken away. Liarakos feeds it over. Back across. Good save by Tynan with the pad. His pass down low. Finds a target. Backhand. Save by Tynan on Liarakos flying through. Young makes a couple of moves, gets it over. Backdoor pass, what a play. Tic-tac-toe, and Liam Freeborn's on the receiving end of it to put the Prowlers up 1-0. To Johnson, wrists it through, it stopped. Gaeta behind the net, out front, Scantlebury scores! Tucker Scantlebury has his first of the year power play goal, and the Prowlers have tied it up. Foley finds it. Picard scores! Oh, that puck bounced right on the stick of Evan Foley. He finds Brandon Picard all alone in front, and the Prowlers regain the lead 3-2. Bond with Licio just floats it on net save. Rebound, and Sokolov stretches out to make the save on Licio. Fed it back to Alex Johnson. Now across to Freeborn. Johnson again. Loads, gives to Scantlebury. His shot, he scores! Another power play goal in the period for Tucker Scantlebury. And the Prowlers are up by 2. Played off the boards to Cumbus. Over to Scantleberry with 2 in the game. That's the hat trick for Tucker Scantleberry into the empty cage. Johnson up to Gaeta. Over to Scantleberry on the near side wall. Has Freeborn going to net. Gives it to him, and he scores! The cherry on top from Liam Freeborn. And Tucker Scantleberry has another point tonight. Make it 6 for the Prowlers. A power play goal.
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
They're seriously not even that much better than you.
Should've just got a ticket from phprowlers.com.
I should have just bought tickets at phprowlers.com.
I got it! I should have just got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
I should have got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
They should have just got tickets
at phprowlers.com.
Back here at the Annex, first intermission underway, and it's a 1-0 lead for the Carolina Thunderbirds. Will Wiggleman with you on the PHP Network. Thanks so much for joining us tonight as the Prowlers play the first game of the last weekend of their 3-week, 7-game road trip. And they face their toughest test yet here in Carolina. And they played it close in that opening period, the only goal coming from Nate Keeley, with the Thunderbirds outshooting the Prowlers 12-7 in the first 20 minutes of play. But before we get deeper into that first period, let's take a look around the FPHL, starting with our out-of-town scoreboard. And we start in Binghamton, where the Black Bears have a 3-2 lead on the Elmira River Sharks. Black Bears scored the first 3 of the game. The River Sharks had the last 2 as they play in the second period in Binghamton. Over in Danbury, the Hat Tricks have a 2-1 lead on the Motor City Rockers through one period of play. Josh Colton opened the scoring less than a minute in, but John McDonald and Michael Falanga had the 2 goals for the Hat Tricks, and they have the lead as they get set to start period number 2. Danbury outshot Motor City 22-6 in the first 20 minutes of play. Columbus and Blue Ridge are battling for the first time ever and they just started the second period, but through one. It was 2-1 River Dragons. Columbus outshot Blue Ridge 13-3 in that opening period. Bobcats did have a lead for a little while, but the Dragons got 2 goals in under 2 minutes late in the frame from Justin McDonald and Josh Petrantonio. And that's where we stand in Blue Ridge, 2-1 in favor of the River Dragons. And coming up later tonight, dropping the puck in just minutes, the Mississippi Seawolves and Baton Rouge Zydeco doing battle in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And that's your out-of-town scoreboard. And keeping in our theme of looking around the FPHL, let's look at some storylines around the league. Saw a lot of movement on the trade block the other day. And we start with Mississippi acquiring Dmitry Kuznetsov from the Danbury Hat-Tricks in exchange for Liam Murray. And that was a significant trade. Murray was inactive from the Seawolves as he was part of the SPHL with the Huntsville Havoc. And then he gets traded in exchange for Kuznetsov, who was signed by Mississippi today ahead of their game. We'll see later on if he might be in the lineup for the Seawolves in tonight's game. Murray is actually listed as the backup for Danbury as they face, again, the Motor City Rockers at home tonight. Another trade, Edgars Ozelinch going to Baton Rouge. Cody Rogers heading to Elmira as part of a 3-team trade with the Columbus River Dragons, who just receive future considerations out of it. Ozelinch has not played a game yet this season, and Rogers was a big part of Baton Rouge's defense core, so a big piece for them to give up. You'll see him in our Continental catch-up coming up in the second intermission as he scored a big goal last weekend for the Zydeco. So that's a little bit of shuffling. There's more shuffling for the Zydeco as they fired their head coaches Paul McLean and Matthew Fornari, hiring MJ Graham as just the head coach. You'll see in the Continental catch-up, which I recorded the other day, that I said MJ Graham was going to be the third player head coach in the FPHL this season, third active one. Well, that was true until today when he decided that he was not going to play, he was just going to coach. So MJ Graham hired as just the head coach. He was the Zydeco's leading scorer this season. So a tough place for his team to be, a team that already struggles to score goals, now losing their leading goal scorer. Turning our attention back to tonight's game, as we look at the stats, Carolina was the only team that has had a power play so far tonight, and the Thunderbirds are 0 for 1 on the man advantage. Other than that, not too much to speak of. Just the one goal from Nate Keeley, a beautiful, perfectly placed wrist shot coming down the left wing side as he beat Sokolov over the glove hand. It's the only goal, with Sokolov able to stop 11 shots, and Mario Cavalieri perfect in the other net for the Thunderbirds. And the only penalty, just the minor for interference to Braden Deck in that opening frame. Teams stepping back out onto the ice. And as they do, we give you our PHP Network trivia question for tonight's game. During the 2021-22 season, Chris Paulin led the FPHL in wins as a member of these Carolina Thunderbirds. How many wins did he have? Chris Paulin, of course, now a member of the Port Huron Prowlers. An assistant coach for now until he gets recovered. He actually went away for his final surgery a few weeks ago. He joined the team back here in North Carolina. And he is behind the bench for the Prowlers tonight in his assistant coach duties. So it's good to see Chris Paulin back with the team, and hopefully he'll be able to get back on the ice soon and resume his goaltending duties in between the pipes. In between the pipes tonight, Makar Sokolov getting set in the goal crease to our right. He made 11 saves on 12 Thunderbird shots in the opening period. Mario Cavalieri getting set in the goal crease to our left. He stopped all 7 Prowler shots that he saw in the first 20 minutes of play. Evan Foley and Gus Ford getting set for the opening faceoff to begin the Hungry Howies' second period. And the Prowlers still trailing 1-0. Alex Johnson will get the first touch on it. He sends it up the boards. And now Tellstrom has help coming, gets into the zone, but Kennedy able to shut down that pass. Baker finds it, sends Ford with a step, and he scores! 19 seconds into the second period. They find Gus Ford on the rush, and he's able to snap it by Sokolov. That's the last guy you want to give a step to. And the Thunderbirds have doubled their lead. Team high 12th goal of the season for number 10 in red. He extends his goal streak to 5 straight games. And he extends this Thunderbirds lead. Parsons sends it up. And now Panacek looking for more. Drops it to Salak. His shot caught up in Parsons' equipment. And the two 16s go into the wall together. Here's Jay. Has a man breaking. Looking for him. It was Picard. But icing waved off. Thunderbirds trying to work it out. Schumacher kept it in momentarily. Jay takes his man down. The arm goes up in the air. So delayed penalty coming against Dalton Jay, who you rarely find in the penalty box. Cavalieri to the bench on the delayed call. So right now it's a 6-on-5 advantage for the Thunderbirds, and now we get the whistle. Dalton Jay will be heading to the penalty box. Not sure if he knows it yet. He still sits on the bench. They're ready to drop this puck with nobody in the Prowlers penalty box. Now the referee's trying to figure out who they're supposed to put in the box. And now they're pointing Alex Johnson to the box. And finally, Dalton Jay will make his way to the sin bin to serve his time. They pointed Johnson to the box momentarily, but now he'll be allowed to stay out and kill this penalty. Second one of the game for the Thunderbirds. They're 0 for 1. Young finds the puck, but he's taken into the wall, and now Baker gives over to Ford. Thunderbirds set up. The pass across was blocked on the way through by a body. Keeley down to Ford. Into the slot. Dumas tried to one-time it. Couple of Prowler sticks in there. Ford below the goal line. Out high, Baker walks down to Ford. Tried to catch the corner from the goal line. Instead, he'll fly it out of play. 18:23 to go in the second period. We want to thank the Thunderbirds for the use of their camera tonight. We appreciate them for letting us use that. Graham and Panacek getting set for the faceoff. Both teams switching up their units. Panacek wins it back cleanly to Salak. Panacek again. Salak heading towards the middle of the ice. Now he'll bounce out. Meanwhile, it's Schnapp with the puck. To Butita. Quickly across to Panacek. Pastuka. One-timer by Salak, kicked out by Sokolov. Schnapp dropping it off. Here's Pastuka. It's now Salak. 56 seconds left to go in the power play. Quickly across. Panacek was driving the back post, but they couldn't connect. Chartrand finds the puck, and he lofts it down ice. Prowlers will be able to get the forwards off. Schumacher and Parsons have to stay out there. Panacek played it back across to Pastuka. Thunderbirds able to gain the Prowler line. Here's Butita. To Salak. Curls up high. His shot off a stick. He has it back. 15 seconds to go on the power play. Is that shot off a stick and wide? Parsons clears it down. Cavalieri keeps it moving right up to the Prowler blue line. Schnapp tried to drop it to Panacek, but Tecum's got his stick in the way, and that should take care of the rest of the power play. So the Prowlers PK 2 for 2. Here's Gus Ford back in. Kennedy at the point. Wrists it around. Dumas sent it in front. Ford to Kennedy. Winds and fires it wide. Dumas again. Now Kennedy. There's Sokolov leaving it there behind the net. Johnson up to Chartrand. Prowlers looking to start a rush. Farmer over to Kennedy. Off the wall. Parsons trying to turn it back up the other way. Foley on for Sim, but Kennedy picked his pocket. Here comes Gus Ford, surrounded by white sweaters. Ford turns the corner, gets to his forehead, put it through. That one may have glanced off a skate and wide. One-time blast stopped by Sokolov off the stick of Felder. Now Johnson with some skating room. Johnson into offensive territory, sends it wide. Drive off of Scantlebury, tried to put it back on net. Couldn't do it. Battled for in the corner. Merritt trying to dig it out. Now it's Scantlebury. Merritt again. Finally Butita able to get it out of his own end. Keeley tried to dump it in. Instead it comes back to Thunderbird territory. 5 minutes gone in the second period. Here's Scantlebury skating into a loose puck, and he took a hit from Felder behind the net. Young kept it in, whipped it towards the cage. Goes just wide. Graham towards the middle of the ice. Couldn't find Tellstrom. That one lofted down the sheet, and Sokolov will cover up for a whistle and a face-off. Gus Ford has the first goal of the second period, and he gives the Thunderbirds a 2-0 lead. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people.
They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Come fill McMorran Place at every Prowlers home game this season. General admission tickets are just $15 with discounts available for seniors, military, students, and children under 12. Upgrade your experience in one of our suites, or bring the whole squad to the game with discounts for groups of 10 or more. Find your best option to visit the Thumb Coast professional hockey team by visiting phprowlers.com and find the tickets tab or call the box office at 810-985-6166. Secure your seats today.
Back here at the Annex, 2-0 Thunderbirds with 14:40 to go in period number 2, the Hungry Howie's second period. Faceoff will be deep in Prowler territory after Sokolov covered the dump in. Graham able to win it cleanly back to Schumacher. Now Picard goes off the boards and out. Kennedy gets it right back to center. That one going all the way down. Does it have the legs for icing? It does. So the faceoff will come all the way back to Mario Cavalieri's end. Cavalieri, one of the best goaltenders in the FPHL. Probably the best statistics-wise this season. Hasn't had too much to deal with tonight. Just 9 shots on net so far for the Prowlers. Graham giving it towards Jay. And now Kennedy. Here's Panacek. Out towards Salak. Pushes through the hit from Deck. And now Salak and Deck lock up. Pastuka towards Salak. Tipped it on. And Sokolov able to make the save. And then Graham and Panacek go spilling. They give each other a couple extra shoves. Conversations continuing as linesmen and teammates come in to break it up. We apologize for any camera issues you're seeing here. Again, we are using the Thunderbirds camera, which we really do appreciate them giving to us. Chartrand tips it along. Tecumseh skates into it. 2-on-2 as they hit the line. Foley with a quick shot. Knocked down by Cavalieri. It sat there in the crease. But the quick whistle from the referee as the puck was cleared away. That dropped right next to Mario Cavalieri. Referee, though, was on the other side of the net to make that call. That was referee Richard Green. He's out there with Ron Johnson. The linesmen tonight, Patrick Callan and Terry Patzel. Up the face-off. They dig around. And now Johnson at center to Scantleberry. He'll dump it around. Cavalieri on it. Merritt flies in, but got past Tellstrom. Now here's Johnson. Pulls up, dumps it around. Cavalieri out to play it again. Farmer gives it on to Bioni. He reverses right back to Farmer. Watched by Tellstrom. Now Bioni again. Long lead pass cut off by Johnson in neutral ice. And dumped in by Dumas. Under 13 minutes to go in the second period. Thunderbirds able to get it right back into Prowler territory. It's Schumacher up to Scantleberry. Off the wall and out. Felder gives it on to Firth. Firth watched by Johnson. Try to pass it out high. Now Picard was behind everybody. Puck just came to the wrong side of him. Cavalieri out to play it. There's Schnapp. Couldn't get it out though. Scantleberry dumps it in. Now Scantleberry and Butita having some words. Fans want some penalties. They won't get them. Butita with the puck. Schnapp off the wall and out. Nate Feely trying to hop around Parsons. Always a physical battle when the Prowlers and Thunderbirds get together. We saw it last year in the playoffs, and we're seeing it again tonight. Kennedy makes a move, and his backhand try lifts over top of the cage. Dalton Young up to Picard. He gives it on to Sim. Makes a move at the red line, dumps it in, and then Sim is dumped into his own bench by Pastuca. Crowd loving that. Picard's pass along was not to a teammate. And now here's Deck. Prowlers try to reset. Chartrand up towards Foley. Gaeta swoops in for it. Foley behind the net to Gaeta. Sharp angle try. Not sure if Cavalieri even saw it. Parsons has to hustle back to his own end for it. Foley tried to take the shot off of Clay Keeley's skate, and it flies into the protective netting, out of play. 10:47 to go in period 2. Up and down action. Physicality is ramping up. Carolina still with the 2-0 lead. They're waiting for Cavalieri to get set. Now he is. Merritt wins the faceoff cleanly. Johnson through. That rose high. Ford. Head up. Gives it up. And Dumas dumps it in. Scantleberry tried to turn it along. He got it out, but Ford took it. Gives to Baker, who dumps it right back in. Scantleberry lofts it out, but that either hit a stick or the glass and goes out of play, so we'll get a whistle. Faceoff will come back into Prowler territory. Prowler sending out Matt Graham's line. Graham able to win the faceoff back from Ford. Rim to Picard. He'll loft it out. Baker swung and missed at it, but he's able to keep it moving in his direction on the second swipe. Dumas looking for Farmer driving the net. Dumas has it again. Out high, Farmer risks it through traffic. It's gloved and held with ease by Makar Sokolov. 9:48 to go in period number 2. Still 2-0 Carolina. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network. .948 to go in the Hungry Howie's second period, and the Prowlers trailing the Carolina Thunderbirds 2-0. The faceoff will come back into Prowlers territory. Looks like Matt Graham's line will stay out there. Not sure how much of that decision is Matt Graham's or if it's Chris Paulins, who is acting as the coach behind the bench tonight. And of course, just as I say that, Graham steps over the boards to get back on the bench, and Sam Merritt will be the one centering Dalton Jay and Brandon Picard. As you see on your screen now, a couple more maintenance issues to deal with the ice. They were working on the far side boards in that same zone, not 20 seconds into the game. And now here, just past the midway point of the contest, they're finished, and we are set to go. Nate Keeley and Sam Merritt will be in on the faceoff. Rimmed all the way around. Here's Deck, lofting it high and out. Farmer curling away from Picard. Here comes Keeley with Butita. Parsons knocks it neatly off of Nate Keeley's stick. Picard couldn't loft the puck out. Schnapp kept it in. Now Keeley to the point, Bioni. Schnapp turnaround dump. Finds Butita behind the net. Keeley again. Third line getting a little cycle going for Carolina. Keeley turns it over. Here's Jay trying to gain a step. Jay able to get out. Hit the crossbar with a backhander. Oh, Dalton Jay fought all the way. He got a great shot off. He beat Cavalieri but couldn't beat the iron. 8:45 to go in the second period. Chartrand in on the forecheck causes a turnover. Something the Prowlers have done well tonight is causing turnovers. Now they need to take advantage of them. And now Chartrand and Bioni are going to go. Bioni throwing right, Chartrand throwing left. Now Chartrand with a couple wild lefts as they both spin down to the ice. Dan Chartrand and Justin Bioni with a good tilt. They were talking for a couple seconds, and then they started pushing, and then the gloves came flying off. Chartrand got some good lefts in there, especially towards the end of that quick fight. And both players will head to their respective penalty boxes with the crowd on its feet. Maybe the Prowlers get another spark from this. We'll see where they put the face-off. That's the discussion right now. Prowlers think it should be in the zone. Thunderbirds think it should be out of the zone. And it looks like they are going to drop it outside of Thunderbird territory. Matt Graham trying to figure out why, as is Chris Paulin over on the Prowler bench. Merritt and Panacek will be in to draw. 8.5 minutes to go in the period. Johnson plays it off the wall and out. And that one off a stick flies into the crowd, out of play. Prowlers want the penalty. We'll see if they'll get it. Prowlers think that one just went straight out of play without deflecting. And now the referees are discussing it. This could be a good time for the Prowlers to get their first power play. But I don't think they'll get it. They will get an offensive zone face-off, though. $8:19 left to go in the second period. So Merritt and Panacek to draw again. And off the face-off, Merritt is kicked out after the false start. So Scantlebury will slide in. Tellstrom over to left wing, but it's won by Peter Panacek. Salak kicking it along. Gives it over to Felder. Up the boards to Panacek. Just dumps it out. Johnson sends it back in. Now Scantlebury takes his man hard into the wall. There's a Thunderbird down below the goal line. And slow to get up and back to his feet now is Tucker Firth as he heads off to the bench. Or at least he was going to until the Prowlers came the other way. Firth trying to rub out Scantlebury. Panacek lead pass, finds Pastuka, has a breakaway, and he fired it wide. Not sure if Sokolov got a stick on it. Young plays it away from Salak. Now Young again caught that puck in stride. There's Kennedy back at neutral ice. Prowlers trying to tip it in, but Graham couldn't get the touch on it, so icing called against Port Huron with 7:04 to go in the middle period. Devastating hit on one end from Tucker Scantlebury that sent Firth down to the ice hard. He was able to get back to his feet and defend the next rush. Baker off the faceoff. His shot blocked nicely by Matt Graham. Dumas. Now Ford. Couldn't center. Ford gets it to the point. Ford again. Below the goal line is Dumas. Went through Baker. Schumacher trying to tip it along. And finally it squirts out. Cavalieri all the way out of his goal crease to play it. Quick up to Kennedy. Young chips it on to Schumacher. Comes all the way to Kennedy at the point. His shot floated wide. Now Sims skates into it. With speed working on Felder. His wrist shot goes just wide of the far post. So he was looking towards Cavalieri's blocker side. Baker soft dump in, and the Thunderbirds will get a change. Under 6 to play in the Hungry Howie second period. Here comes Gaeta. Gaeta able to kick it back up to his stick. Dropped off for Deck. Wrist shot. Blocked down. Cavalieri doesn't know where it was. As Evan Foley was whacking away. Here come the Thunderbirds back out. Farmer. Outside try, gloved and held by Sokolov. And he'll hang on for a whistle. That was John Petita's stick you saw go flying. So he was guarded by Braden Deck. Faceoff will stay in the Prowlers zone. With a tick over 5.5 left in the second period. It's Nate Keeley, and Sam Merritt to take the face-off to Sokolov's right. Merritt able to win it back. Deck trying to muscle off Schnapp. Puck along the board. Schnapp just shoots it from there. Sokolov leaves it for Parsons. To Cumbus. Got it out. Some bad memories in this building for Vinny DeCumbus, as this was the building in almost a year to the date ago that DeCumbus suffered that shoulder injury that left him out for most of the rest of the year. Here's Scantlebury with a shot off a stick and out of play. DeCumbus would only play one more game last season before going on season-ending IR. And we'll have more on that for you when we come back. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the PHP Network.
Mac and cheese is up.
Mac and cheese pizza? Mac and cheese pizza.
That's right, the new mac and cheese pizza from Hungry Howie's. Mac and cheese, mozzarella, panko breadcrumbs, and our famous flavored crust. Only for a limited time.
Hungry
Howie's.
4:53 to go in the Hungry Howie's second period. The Prowlers still trailing the Thunderbirds by a score of 2-0. Will Wiggleman with you on the PHP Network. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. And before the break, we were talking about Vinny DeCumbis, who suffered the shoulder injury here in Winston-Salem nearly a year ago to the day, and was out for the rest of the year. Did try and come back and play one game, but ended up on season-ending IR. Called it one of the most difficult times of his hockey career, but he's persevered through it, and back with the Prowlers this season. There's Jan Salak with a couple of Prowlers back. He'll dump it in. Now Sim tried to step around a man. Instead, he took the hit and gave up the puck. Kennedy down towards Panacek. Got through him and all the way around to Schumacher. Tellstrom gloves it down, gives to Merritt, who one-touches it along for Sim. 3 red jerseys back as Sim tried to make a move, and it's taken away. Panacek lost it at the Prowler blue line. Salak with it now. Back to Kennedy fresh off the bench. Joe Kennedy walks in, fires in and out of the glove of Sokolov. Johnson able to steer the rebound to the corner, and then Kennedy dumps Alex Johnson from behind. The arm goes immediately up in the air, and Alex Johnson is down, and he'll receive attention from the Carolina training staff. Oh, that is just about the worst position you can be in to absorb a hit. As Joe Kennedy extended his arms, hitting Alex Johnson from behind about 2 feet from the boards. And you can't see it on the video, as Johnson was going in literally 2 or 3 feet from the boards. Kennedy pushed him from behind, and we'll see what the call is going to be. I think there certainly could be merit for this to be a 5-minute major. Right now, Kennedy is in the penalty box. We'll let you know as soon as something goes up on the board. But we do know for sure will be the first Prowlers quality power play of the game. And now Kennedy is being sent off. So it looks like it will be a 5-minute major. Meanwhile, Alex Johnson, good to see him back to his feet and skating under his own power back to the Prowlers bench. He's an important part of the Prowlers power play. Of course, with Austin Federley out, the other quarterback of the Prowlers power play, now Alex Johnson, doubled over heading back to the Prowlers bench. We'll see who Port Huron sends out for this man advantage. Dawson Baker's heading over to the penalty box to serve. Though 5-minute boarding major and a match penalty for Joe Kennedy, and that will certainly get the attention of the Department of Player Safety, although they may have to look at the live barn video because I don't think the broadcast feed actually caught it. They're just waiting for the penalty to go up on the board. Prowlers send out Merritt, Graham, Jay, DeCumbus, and Picard for the start of this 5-minute quality power play. Prowlers can score as many times as they like. A huge opportunity for Port Huron to get back in this game. Prowlers power play is 4th in the FPHL at 24.2%, but they're going against one of the top units on the PK in the league in Carolina, who's tied for first with Columbus at 87.5%. Here's DeCumbus at the point. Feeds Jay. Down to Picard. Back up to Dalton Jay. DeCumbus again. Pass in front, bounces to Cavalieri, and he'll cover up for a whistle and a face-off. Now Dawson Baker has stepped out of the penalty box. So have Bioni and Chartrand done with their fight. I think Baker wanted to go kill the penalty. They're going to tell him he has to sit in there for the entire 5 minutes, which is true. Good to see Alex Johnson back out there for this second power play unit with Scantleberry, Tellstrom, Gaeta, and Dan Chartrand. But Johnson gave it up. Here comes Butita. Good back check by Gaeta to knock it away, and Tellstrom takes the puck. Tellstrom up to Scantleberry. He'll dump it in. Prowlers chase after. Firth finds it. Goes off the boards. And now here's Butita again. This time more Prowlers back. He'll dump it in on net and go after it. Johnson with 2.5 to go in the period. This power play will spill over to the third, even if the Prowlers do score. They're having a tough time setting up now, though, as Firth fires it the length of the ice. And Sokolov will leave it there for Johnson. Port Huron in the midst of some changes. Picard dumps it in softly. Graham after it. Clay Keeley only got as far as the line. Scantleberry able to spin it deep. Let's tip through Graham. And now moving the other direction is Farmer. Has Panacek and Salak with him. Farmer takes the shot, knocked down, the rebound, chipped over top of the cage. As Sokolov just was able to fight off that first shot. Jay turned it over to Farmer, looking for Salak, who's on a breakaway path. Salak and Picard come together. And now Jan Salak out high to Farmer. He'll just drop back. Schnapp was in front of the net, hoping for a pass. That didn't come. Schnapp has the puck now, as this Thunderbirds penalty kill is showing all its worth. Picard locked up. Now Schnapp takes the puck, but they whistle off sides. And Schnapp shoots the puck at the wall in frustration. Prowlers will have about 1 minute and 17 seconds of power play time when the third period rolls around. Surely they'd like to get one before the end of the second. First they have to get in the zone and set up. Johnson will try to do just that. Here's Tellstrom feeding it on to Sim. Into offensive territory, looking for Chartrand just out of his reach. Johnson gloves it down with 45 to Tellstrom. Johnson at the point. Pass to Sim has to be recollected. Johnson to Tellstrom. Back to Johnson, who has 4 power play goals. Wrists it through, hit the iron! 2 posts in the period for the Prowlers, and then Johnson's stick shatters on the one-time try. Johnson back out there with a new twig. Fed it out in front, couldn't find a friendly stick. 12 seconds to go. Tellstrom over to Gaeta with 8. Wrists it through looking for Sim off his stick. Final seconds ticking off, and that puck slips out to center. And 2 periods down from the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex. Thunderbirds 2, Prowlers nothing. Shots on goal in that middle period, favoring the Thunderbirds. Another 12-7 period for a game total of 24-14 in favor of the Thunderbirds. Stay tuned for the second intermission. We'll take a look at a long Continental catch-up, and we'll also take a look at the Prowlers' upcoming schedule. It's all coming up here on the PHP Network. Secure your seats for the Prowlers' next home game as they take on their I-94 rivals, the Motor City Rockers, on Friday, December the 8th, with puck drop at McMorran Place scheduled for 7:05 p.m. That's right, that is just 1 week from tonight. Tickets are available online at phprowlers.com/tickets, by phone at 810-985-6166, or by scanning that QR code on your screen now. That's online at phprowlers.com/tickets, by phone at 810-985-6166, or scan that QR code on your screen now to experience Prowlers hockey live and in person as it was meant to be. Second intermission underway. Prowlers trail by a pair. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers?
You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
Mac and cheese is up.
Mac and cheese pizza? Mac and cheese pizza.
That's right, the new mac and cheese pizza from Hungry Howie's. Mac and cheese, mozzarella, panko breadcrumbs, and our famous flavored crust. Only for a limited time.
Hungry Howie's.
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
seriously not even that much better than you.
Should've just got a ticket from phprowlers.com.
I should have just bought tickets at phprowlers.com.
I got it!
I should have just got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
I should have got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
They should have just got tickets
at phprowlers.com.
Panachik loses it in the high slot. Baker gets it back. They'll just cycle it back down. Under a minute to go here in Columbus. The fans come to their feet. Here's a shot, and they score! Colgan, he got lost. He thought the puck was going the other way, and Yuri Pastuka was just sitting there on the doorstep, able to back one home. And with 53 seconds remaining here in the third period, we're tied up at 1 in Columbus. Hasn't played since November 3rd. He tied us up with 53 seconds left. Now a chance to win it. Pastuka walks in, back in, and he scores! Stretch pass, trying to find Dumas. You got to stick to it. Gus Ford's going to be the first one to it in the corner. Ford just throws one off the side of the cage. Ends up coming right back to him in the far corner. Ford throws one in the slot. Baker has shot and he scores! Leaves it for Ford, all alone at the dot, trying to dance around. Holds it behind the net, trying to throw it off the back of the cage. Ford still holding though. Brings it out near side, right on front, throws one, and he scores! Gus Ford, 42 seconds into overtime, wins it for Carolina.
Stevens drops it back. Lindbergh waits. Matsanak down the wing. In front, score! Danny Martin, his first as a Bobcat, and it's 2-1, Blue Ridge.
This one comes all the way on out to center ice, and out they come. Here is Hansen, left wing side. The drop off now. Rogers shoots, scores! Here's a quick pass across. Weber thinks about it. Backdoor that time, and Chirac just couldn't quite get to it. Weber, 2 seconds and one. Penalty over. Shoots, scores! The hat trick in overtime gives the Zydeco the extra point. Second period, 8:35 left to go. Bazarin comes back out of the box, and now Hansen dropping Bazarin across the ice. Score!
And the Bobcats create a chance here. It's Smirnoff, lost the handle, backdoor score! Cody Oakes! We're tied! With 15 seconds left, Hall centers. Stevens works it free. Popped out top. McGuire a shot. Rebound score! Dominic Montanak for the lead! Oh, baby, with 8 seconds left, number 88 has put Blue Ridge on top.
To Picard, they get him involved. Federally to Johnson. Takes a shot, he scores! Power play goals in 3 straight for Alex Johnson, and he gives the Prowlers a 3-0 lead. Trying to gain control, and now Mississippi is in. Licio has a man, takes the shot, and he scores! Now one-on-one, Parsons watching Licio, or Nilsey, excuse me. They pass it back door, and they jam it in on the rebound. Not sure who that was who jammed it in at the post. There was a ruckus at the crease, and the Seawolves have scored 4 straight. They take their first lead of the night. Fed it back to Alex Johnson. Now across to Freeborn. Johnson again. Loads, gives to Scantleberry. His shot, he scores! Another power play goal in the period for Tucker Scantleberry. And the Prowlers are up by 2. Played off the boards to Cumbus. Over to Scantleberry with 2 in the game. That's the hat trick for Tucker Scantleberry. into the empty cage. Second intermission rolling on here at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex, and the Thunderbirds have a 2-0 lead on the Port Huron Prowlers. Will Wiggleman back with you on the PHP Network. Thanks so much for joining us again tonight. It's been a tightly contested game. Prowlers will have some power play time to begin the third period, but before we get to all that, let's take a look around the FPHL with our out-of-town scoreboard. And we start in Binghamton, where the Black Bears have scored the last two, the only 2 goals of the third period, to take a 5-3 lead on the Elmira River Sharks. Frank Trezera does have 2 goals for Elmira. Connor Smith has 2 for Binghamton. Motor City and Danbury have just begun the third period. They're knotted up at 3 goals apiece as the hat-tricks buckled down, got it together, and ended up leaving the middle frame tied after falling behind 3-1 in Danbury. Finally, or next up, we go to Blue Ridge and Columbus. That was a tight game. 4-3, the Bobcats had the lead. A tighter game than you may expect with Columbus and Blue Ridge based on their talent and their standings right now, but the Bobcats are hanging right with the River Dragons. Then 4-3 the score. And Cody Wickline has what is the game-winning goal right now if the game ended at this moment. Seawolves and Zydeco are knotted up at 1 and the first intermission, and with a couple minutes left in that period, the newest Seawolf, Dmitry Kuznetsov, is playing, but with the couple minutes left in that period, I'm looking at 6 fighting majors and 4 game misconducts between the two teams. With a couple minutes left in that opening period, I'm sure you love to see that, get that rivalry really up and going between the Seawolves and the Zydeco. They'll see each other over 20 times this season. And the rough stuff coming out tonight in Baton Rouge. Let's take a look at the upcoming schedule for the Prowlers. Of course, tonight, the 1st of December, they're here at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex, and they'll be here for the next 2 nights. A 6:05 start tomorrow and a 4:05 start on Sunday, as they play their first 3-3 of the season. Then they'll return home next week to face the Motor City Rockers for a couple of games. It will be a home-and-home, a 7:05 start a week from tonight at McMorran Place, and then a 6:05 start down in Fraser on December the 9th. And that is your upcoming schedule for your Port Huron Prowlers. Now let's turn our attention back to tonight's game. And you see the stats. They're pretty tight. Prowlers in the midst of their first and only power play so far tonight, which is a 5-minute major, as Kennedy picked up the 5-minute major for boarding, and then the 5 minutes that goes along with a match penalty. And that's where we stand. So the Prowlers will have 1:17 left on that. Carolina 0 for 3 on the power play. And Prowler PK really keeping them in it tonight. Well, let's answer our PHP Network trivia question regarding Prowler's assistant coach, Chris Paulin, who is behind the bench tonight. And you see him just stepping onto the bench now during the 2021-22 season. Chris Paulin led the FPHL in wins as a member of the Thunderbirds. How many wins did he have? And your answer is 20 wins that season for Chris Paulin, who's hoping to get back to the form that he had as one of the top goaltenders in the FPHL as he continues to recover from off-season surgery and hoping to jump back between the pipes for the Prowlers very, very soon. Prowlers sending out Picard, Jay, Merritt, Johnson, and DeCumbus to begin this power play of the third period. That has 1:17 left on it. It's going to be Schnapp, Farmer, and the Keeley twins to defend, at least to start. I don't think I've seen Clay and Nate Keeley out there together very often tonight. It looks like we're having still more troubles with the ice along the boards. It's the third time they've come out to check on different patches of ice along the boards. And that is what we're waiting for before the puck drop to begin period number 3. And the rest of the Prowlers' quality power play, one that they hope they can cash in on and get themselves back in this game. Both teams hanging out at their benches. Makar Sokolov in the goal crease to our left has stopped 22 of 24 Thunderbird shots tonight. He gets himself all set, as does Mario Cavalieri in the goal crease to our right. 13 saves on 13 Prowler shots tonight for the Thunderbirds netminder. And now the off-ice crew is back off the ice. Sam Merritt and Nate Keeley can get set to drop the puck on the third period, and we are underway. There's Vinny DeCumbus revving the engines. He'll find Merritt, who speeds in. Matt Graham is actually out there instead of Alex Johnson, of the guys that I mentioned at the start of the period. Jay knocked that one down at center. Here's DeCumbus. Back to Jay on the right half wall. Sent it on net, saved by Cavalieri, and he sticks to the post to get the rebound from DeCumbus. Picard fires, scores! It went in and out quick, but Brandon Picard beats Cavalieri to the blocker's side. It's a power play goal, and the Prowlers are on the board. Team high 7th of the year for Picard, who now has a point in all 10 games that he's dressed in this season. It took a minute for everyone to figure out, took a half second for everyone to figure out that that puck did in fact go in. But indeed it did. It's a big goal for Port Huron, as that puck flies into the stands off a stick. 33 seconds still to go on the major penalty to Joe Kennedy. So Thunderbirds will be playing down a defenseman, of course, for the rest of the game. Scantlebury and Ford lined up for this face-off. Scantlebury wins it back. Here's Tellstrom walking in, lost the handle, he'll get it deep. Chartrand picks Firth's pocket. Johnson gets it down to Gaeta. Out high, Tellstrom quickly to Johnson. Fakes it. Over to Scantleberry. Now Tellstrom. Johnson at the top. Wrists it through. Deflected wide by Scantleberry. 10 seconds to go on the penalty. Gaeta has it in the corner. Fed it out high. Johnson a rip. Blocked by a sliding Felder. Now we're back to 5-on-5 as Baker out of the box. He was serving the 5-4 Kennedy. Chartrand tried to wrist it through. Hit Bioni. Gaeta sends it around. Tellstrom. Down back towards Gaeta. Thunderbirds flying in using the body, and now the whistle blows. Mario Cavalieri's down on a knee in the Thunderbirds crease. I'm not sure what happened. The training staff is coming out to look at him. It's a little concerning. I'm not sure exactly what happened. I didn't see anything. I think he yelled at the official that he was in trouble and needed some medical attention. They take a look at the Thunderbirds netminder. Training staff heading back to the bench, and Prowlers will get an offensive zone face-off. Bit of a weird one there. Matt Graham and Sam Merritt picking up the assists on Brandon Picard's power play goal. His second on the man advantage this season. He gets a little reverse hit there from Bioni as he was going in on the forecheck. Now here's Salak. Rubbed out by Jay. They play it below the goal line. Schumacher lost it. Now Bioni, as we've lost the camera completely right now. I'll let you know they're working on fixing it here. Meanwhile, it's Picard able to chip it in. Prowlers in the midst of a change. Bioni behind his own net. Cycles it to the near side to Farmer. Panacek up to Baker. Gets the red line, gets it in. He and Young get there together. Deck gets it out. Firth tried to put it right back in. Hit his own man Dumas. And ended up snapping Dumas' stick in half. Deck dumps it in. Now Chartrand. In the near side corner. Down around towards Foley. Felder keeps it moving along. Young kept it in. Here is Young with it. His shot stopped by Cavalieri. Baker cross ice pass to Ford. Ford gets in. His shot fought off by Sokolov, and then a rebound pushed wide. Chipped out. Butita up toward Ford. Got through his stick. Decumbis with his head up, trying to turn the corner on Butita. Able to move it forward. Bioni goes down in a heap. Here's Merritt to Scantleberry. And a sliding play by Clay Keeley keeps Tucker Scantleberry from putting that puck out in front with a couple of teammates there. On the near side boards, it comes out to center. Johnson plays D to D to Parsons, right back to Alex Johnson. Decumbis sends it in off the tip. And it goes right back out. Scantleberry deflects it in. No, he didn't. They'll say he didn't touch it. Well, icing the call against the Carolina Thunderbirds. Or against the Prowlers, excuse me. So the Thunderbirds will have an offensive zone face-off coming all the way back down with 15:46 to go in the period. Again, they're working very hard here to fix the camera for both teams. So that puck is lofted out and just drops into the Carolina bench. They're working very hard to fix the camera for both streams. Matt Graham and Peter Panacek will come in for the faceoff, and now Sokolov pointing out something wrong with the ice right in front of the near side corner. Referees inspected it for a second, but they decide to play on, so the faceoff to Sokolov's left. Worked up the wall, Salak. Now Parsons, his 16 opposite, gets it up to Graham. Jay skates into it. Forced back by Pastuca. Turnaround pass looking for Picard, was knocked away by Firth. Farmer tried to play it away from Jay. Ooh, Dalton Jay a little bit lucky he didn't get a penalty there as his stick was right in Farmer's skates. The arms did stay down. Picard on net, cleared away by Cavalieri, and then the clearing attempt just went off the top of the glass. That would have been very close. That was very close to being a delay of game penalty. Now here's Johnson back in. Shot goes towards the corner, off a stick, and Foley sent it there from the corner. Off of Cavalieri, just bounced wide. Battle for on the near side half wall. Ford, Tellstrom, Schumacher, and Dumas in there. Pops out to Foley, walking the line. Gives it over to Deck. Saucered all the way across. Schumacher, a drive, hit a leg. Deck again to Schumacher. Wrist shot this time, knocked down on the way through. Didn't get to Cavalieri though. Baker had the puck stolen by Chartrand to Foley. Shoots it, just missed on the short side. Chartrand comes back for it. Schumacher off the wall. Baker. This time he'll draw the penalty. And now it's Baker on the near side with Cavalieri to the bench for the extra attacker. Carolina about to go back on the power play. Here's Clay Keeley. Took a hit from Deck. Merritt touches up, and we'll get the call. Carolina power play. When we come back, you're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people.
They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Come fill McMorran Place at every Prowlers home game this season. General admission tickets are just $15 with discounts available for seniors, military, students, and children under 12. Upgrade your experience in one of our suites, or bring the whole squad to the game with discounts for groups of 10 or more. Find your best option to visit the Thumb Coast professional hockey team by visiting phprowlers.com and find the tickets tab, or call the box office at 810-985-6166. Secure your seats today.
(2-1) Thunderbirds as we play with 13:35 to go in the third period, but as they go to the power play, 2 minutes for high sticking against Dan Chartrand. So the Prowlers back to the true balance penalty kill, which is 3 for 3 so far tonight. You don't want to tempt this Carolina power play too much. There's Salak giving to Panacek. Both units dangerous for Carolina. The one-time blast from the outside. Don't think Panacek got all of it. Here's Schnapp towards the back door. Saved by Sokolov. And he got the rebound too. Out to the point. Wrist shot through. Sokolov the save. He finds it. Puck squirts behind the net. Couple of saves there from Makar Sokolov. Schumacher able to turn it and fire it out off of Pastuka's glove. Now it's Pastuka back in. Feeding it over to Schnapp. Outside try. Stopped by Sokolov. Butita finds it. And a low shot. Sokolov got the pad on just enough. Halfway through the penalty to Chartrand. Pastuka down to Schnapp. Feeding across Panacek. Watched by Schumacher. Now it's Butita. Butita looking for Pastuka. His stick shatters on the one-timer. Boy, Yuri Pastuka stepped in, wanted the 1T all the way, and his stick disagreed with him. 43 seconds left on the penalty to Dan Chartrand. Both teams switching units. Merritt and Ford in on the draw. Comes to the wall. Firth gets it down deep. Ford on it. Out high Baker. Now Ford. Baker again. They continue to play catch. Ford had his stick lifted momentarily by Graham. Baker again. Over towards Firth. Pass handcuffed him. He wanted the one-timer. Firth walks, gives to Baker. Ford now sliding in front of the crease. It was Keeley who was the intended target for that pass that didn't connect. Chartrand steps out of the box, so we're back to 5-on-5 with the puck still pinned up in that far corner. 3 Prowlers, 3 Thunderbirds in there. That's Braden Deck down on a knee, trying to protect it. Ford turned it towards the front of the net, and Sokolov able to get the paddle on it. Baker. Now to Keeley. Winds, shoots. That one hit a body, and Merritt's able to rescue it. Give it to Chartrand, who took a hard hit from Keeley. Here's Merritt leaving it behind the net. His team in the midst of a change. He needs one too. Firth up to Ford. Young fresh off the bench makes the defensive play. Now DeCumbus back into offensive territory. Overskated the puck. Puck's on the far side boards. In front of the Thunderbirds bench. They battle for it. Bioni chased by Scantleberry. And now Ford. Back in his own end. Under 10.5 to go, third period. Firth hanging out behind his own net. Waiting for the breakout to develop. He'll just rim it all the way up. Schnapp lifts Jay's stick. One-on-one with Young. Dalton Young wins that battle with a good poke check. Bioni scoots in to put it on net. Kicked out by Sokolov. Parsons skates into that puck, makes a move, makes another. He got caught by Bioni though. Now Bioni trying to work out. Scantleberry lifts his stick with force and dumps it back in. Graham working on Farmer. Out in front, Gaeta just overskated. Now Deck shot through. Gloved and held by Mario Cavalieri. Lots of action here at the Annex. 9:28 to go in the third. Prowlers still trailing by 1. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network. .9:28 to go, third period. Prowlers still trailing by 1. They came into this period trailing 2-0. Just the second time this season they've trailed heading into the third period. And the only other time they lost, but that was the outlier game against Motor City, the 7-1 defeat. They turned it over, and Chartrand got a piece of Foley's attempt at the net, but it goes wide. Here's Clay Keeley. Runs into deck. Schumacher chases after the loose puck. Finds Chartrand. That one hit the linesman. It pops back out to center. Deck waits for everyone to get on sides, and he'll dump it around. Chartrand right on net as Cavalieri was getting back to his position. Chartrand again from the outside. This time misses it wide. Thunderbirds on the attack. Johnson with a good stick at his own blue line. 8.5 to go, third period. Schumacher. Just put it to an area. Gus Ford was there. And he takes it away and turns up ice. Ford gets in, and Sokolov able to make the save with the knob of his stick and send it out of play. 8:13 left in the third. This is the type of hockey Carolina likes to play, those low-scoring games. They're averaging just 3.5 goals per game, and they're giving up just 2.1 goals per game, which is very tough to do in this league. Matt Graham have to backhand it in. Cavalieri out to play it behind the net. Almost gave it right to Tucker Scantlebury. Tecumseh in steals it. Scantlebury down low. The feed just chopped over top of the cage by Merritt. Put back out in front. Nobody home for the Prowlers. Parsons gets it back deep. Scantlebury looking for Merritt in the slot. It was taken away by Ford. Now Baker dumps it in. Dumas cycling it deep. Parsons able to poke it along. He wrestles his man to the ice. Fans want a penalty as Merritt gives it up to Scantlebury, sends Tecumseh on his way. 1-on-2. He shoots it over top of the cage. Buchita trying to turn it back out. And now Picard steals it. Bioni back up to Schnapp. Buchita again. It's bounced back to Bioni as the fans here at the Annex voicing their displeasure. Graham almost took it away. Now Jay off the broken stick to Picard. In tight. And Cavalieri stands him up on the doorstep. A stick flying around. Just barely inhibited that pass as Brandon Picard was all by himself in front of Cavalieri. All he could do was turn and fire, and Mario Cavalieri was just like a wall in front of him. We stay at 2-1. Foley and Panacek in on the faceoff. Farmer off the draw, curling away from Sim. Schumacher turns it back the other direction. Chartrand trying to push it along. Now Foley behind the net. Thunderbirds lost his helmet, has to go to the bench. That's Farmer. Meanwhile, Young steps in to keep the puck alive. Now here's Foley. In front, Chartrand got a piece of it, but not enough to beat Cavalieri. Schumacher winds, fires it towards the net. Cavalieri clutches it to his chest, then he dropped it. Chartrand was looking for it, and that causes a melee. As Cavalieri dropped that puck, Chartrand saw it and took a whack. And the Thunderbirds did not like that. Then Chartrand, who already has himself a fighting major in this game, causing a little more havoc, and he'll be sent to the penalty box along with Tucker Firth. So most likely matching penalties for Firth and Chartrand. 6:11 to go in the third period. And it looks like they'll be playing 4-on-4 for the next 2 minutes. Both teams had 5 on the ice for a moment, and now they send the 5th guy back to the bench. Now they just have to wait for them to put the score up, or the penalties up. Merritt and Ford in on the face-off. It comes to the boards, where Farmer pulls up and gives up to Gus Ford. Ford working on deck, chased by Scantleberry. Ford curling. Out high to Farmer. Farmer lost it. Now Johnson trying to take it with him, but he ended up overskating the puck too far. Ford takes back possession. Here he comes, Gus Ford off the near side wall. Too far ahead of Baker. Prowlers trying to turn it back up. Gaeta couldn't chip it around Panacek. Baker right to Panacek. He leaves it off for Farmer. Panacek into offensive territory. Glove down by Salak. Tried to put it on net but couldn't. Salak. So we approach 5 minutes to go in the third period. Out high to Keeley. That's Clay Keeley walking it to Salak. Panacek. Fired it deep. Parsons first there for the Prowlers. But the pass in Schumacher's skates. Now Frank Schumacher will skate into it behind his own net. 30 seconds to go in the 4-on-4. Dalton J. lead pass on for Gaeta, who waits. Gives back to Schumacher. Here comes Frank Schumacher into offensive territory. Back for Sim. Wrists it through. And the glove save by Cavalieri. He'll hang on for a whistle and a face-off. 11 seconds to go in 4-on-4. We'll take a timeout. 2-1 Thunderbirds. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
Mac and cheese is up.
Mac and cheese pizza? Mac and cheese pizza.
That's right, the new mac and cheese pizza from Hungry Howie's. Mac and cheese, mozzarella, panko breadcrumbs, and our famous flavored crust. Only for a limited time.
Hungry Howie's.
We invite you to tune in to our next broadcast tomorrow when the Prowlers and the Thunderbirds do it again for Game 2 of 3 this weekend from the Annex. Puck drop is scheduled for 6:05 p.m. and the pregame show starts at 5:50. It's all right here on the PHP Network. Prowlers looking for a tying goal with 11 seconds left in 4-on-4. Now Schnapp pulls it out of the pile. Firth and Chartrand back out on the ice. So we're back to 5-on-5. Parsons feeds it across to Matt Graham on the near side boards. Butita gloves it down. Now Nate Keeley wraps it in. Under 4 to play in regulation. Butita tried to put it right back on net. That was blocked by a Prowler stick. Schumacher leading the rush. Looking for Jay. Comes back to him. Now Farmer. Up to Butita. His pass blocked away by Scantlebury. Jay rims it deep. And Scantlebury comes in hard on Farmer. Schnapp trying to go off the boards. Jay right in there on the forecheck. They dig away on the near side wall as time ticks away. Now Nate Keeley will dump it all the way down. And he's iced the puck. Now Scantlebury and Schnapp getting after it. Over by the benches. They'll be separated. Still having some words as the faceoff is coming down to Thunderbird territory. 3:08 to go in regulation. We'll keep an eye on Makar Sokolov for you. Dalton Jay very animated, chatting with one referee. Alex Johnson animated, chatting with the other. Prowlers will get the offensive zone face-off to Mario Cavalieri's left. And off the draw, Farmer just chips it out to Butita. He gets it into Prowler ice. And the Thunderbirds get the change they were looking for. Under 3 minutes to play. So that one turned back to Prowler ice. Deck curls back around to Johnson, and now he sends Foley up. Chartrand off the near side boards. It's clapped right back out. Panacek washed by Johnson, gives it over. Pastuka scores. That could be the dagger as Yuri Pastuka makes it a 3-1 game with under 2.5 to play. Just a quick shot off the rush from Yuri Pastuka. Panacek fed it back. Salak was going to the net. Makar Sokolov, who's been brilliant all night, unable to make the save. And the Prowlers now trail by 2 with under 2.5 minutes to play. And they're going to get the maintenance crew back out on the ice for a 4th time tonight. That's 4 times, not counting the regularly scheduled Zamboni passes between periods. The Prowlers get a bit of a free timeout here to draw things up during the ice maintenance. Officially, it's Yuri Pastuka from Peter Panacek and Tucker Firth. 2:27 to go in the 3rd period as the ice maintenance continues. And that makes it a 2-goal deficit that the Prowlers will have to make up here in the final couple of minutes. And it was just an innocent enough looking rush. It was a 3-on-3 rush, but Pastuca found just enough empty space to let that shot go from the high slot and beat Sokolov, who was dealing with Jan Salak charging his way. Prowlers had a lot of life in this period. They were out shooting Carolina 12-9 before the goal in the frame. They got the power play goal from Picard. But unfortunately for them, now stare at the same deficit they were looking at when the 20 minutes started. Graham and Ford will take the face-off at center ice. Dumped right down and iced immediately by the Thunderbirds. So the Prowlers will get an offensive zone face-off with all twos up on the board. And Makar Sokolov heads to the bench. Prowlers have Graham, DeCumbis, Picard, Parsons, Johnson, and Tellstrom out there with the goalie pulled. Graham knocked down on the face-off. Felder with his head up. He'll try for the empty net, but Johnson back at center blocks it. Felder claps it around, kept in by Parsons. Pinballs over to the far side boards. Now Baker all the way towards the cage, and he's got it. Dawson Baker with the long empty net goal. And that'll put this one to bed. 4-1 Carolina. After Yuri Pastuca picked up his third of the season, that is the sixth of the year for Dawson Baker. 2 goals in 28 seconds for the Thunderbirds. One of them into the empty net. That puts this one to bed. It looks like Carolina will win its 5th straight and take the first game of the 3-game set here at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex. Firth off the draw, kicked out by Sokolov. And now Schumacher over to Deck. Plays it up to Chartrand. Gets into offensive territory, stood up by Firth. The arm is up in the air for a penalty. Slashing is the signal. And somebody's going back to the power play. It is Carolina, as Tucker Scantleberry will go take a seat. Maybe a little frustration there for Tucker Scantleberry. The True Balance penalty kill has been a bright spot for the Prowlers tonight. Perfect 4 for 4 so far. Ford wins the face-off cleanly. Here's Baker. Over to Pastuca. Tips it on for Panacek. Ford to Baker. Salak right in front of the net. Saucers to Pastuca at the point. Down to Ford. Great save by Sokolov, stretching out the pads. Final minute of play in the third period. Pastuca drops it off to Panacek. Baker loads, fires, it sits there in the crease. Deck rescues it, and from his knees, he'll send it up the wall. Panacek over to Baker, wrists it on, and Sokolov with another save. Panacek winds, fires, that hit his own man Salak in front. Pastuca with 30. Baker down to Ford. Fans on their feet. Pastuca to Salak. He sent it wide from the slot. Ford again. Across looking for Pastuca, hopped away. Pastuca down to Baker. Couldn't get the shot to go. Puck comes all the way back down to Mario Cavalieri. And the Carolina Thunderbirds make it official. A 4-1 victory for the home side is in the books. Final shots, 14-12 for Carolina in the third, 38-26 for the game in favor of the Thunderbirds. In a game that was tighter than the score indicated, certainly. That was a 2-1 game with under 3 minutes to play before Carolina got a big insurance marker and then the empty netter to make it 4-1. But another marvelous performance from Mario Cavalieri and a great performance in the other net from Makar Sokolov. And before we break it down, another reminder to tune into our next broadcast tomorrow night when these teams do it again with puck drop scheduled for 6:05 p.m. Pregame show starts at 5:50. It's all right here for you on the PHP Network. Well, this was a very low-scoring game. The goaltenders did a great job on both sides to keep both offenses at bay for much of the game. It was a cleanly played game, at least for most of it, for the first period and most of the second. Nate Keeley got the first goal of the game with a quick shot off the left wing side that beats Sokolov over the glove. Gus Ford, just 19 seconds into period 2, got what would be the game winner. That made it 2-0 at that point. Prowlers answered in the third, 38 seconds into the final frame, when Brandon Picard scored a power play goal. Prowlers pushed, tried as much as they could, and put a lot of rubber on Cavalieri, but could not get that tying goal. Yuri Pastuca with 2:27 to go in the third period got the insurance marker, and then Dawson Baker hit the empty net, and that is your hockey game 4-1 for the Carolina Thunderbirds. We'll wait to see if they announce the 3 stars of the game shortly here, as the Prowlers fall to 5-5-1, stay at 15 points, stay at 4th in the Continental Division, while Carolina moves to 9-2 with now 24 points. But they will stay at 2nd in the Continental, with Columbus defeating Blue Ridge 6-4 tonight in regulation. They give Gus Ford a star of the game. Ford with, as I mentioned, the eventual game-winning goal. So the second star, Nate Keeley, with his first professional goal, the first goal of the game. He got second star honors tonight. And the first star, Justin Bioni. They give him the first star. Bioni with an assist. He also fought Dan Chartrand. That may have contributed to him being the first star of the night. But those are your stars. Gus Ford, the third star. Nate Keeley, the second star. And Justin Bioni, the first star of the night. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight on the PHP Network. We hope to see you again tomorrow. But until then, we'll see you next time on the PHP Network.